Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. It's time for a project update and to celebrate 4,000 subscribers. And yes, the C25 is driving and it's also able to stop by itself, which is great. Of course, I haven't tested it that much because I have no number plates on this car, so it's a bit difficult. I would like to get all the lighting fixed so I can do a real proper test drive with some testing number plates to really get to know this car and to figure out if it's actually healthy or not. I'm slightly unsure about that. If it is, then there is many hours of rust work to go, and then maybe we can actually start using this camper. For the last few weeks, I have been changing the brakes, the entire braking system, new calipers, new lines, hoses, master cylinder, bias valve in the rear, cylinders in the rear, and everything is changed. I did take it on a small test drive on a closed road the other day. In fourth gear, I get a woo, woo, droning sound, just like a worn bearing, but it seems to only occur in fourth gear. When I change to fifth, it goes away. If I accelerate a little bit in fourth, it will also disappear. It's just in a very small band of the rev range in fourth gear that it makes this sound. I hope it's a bearing, but it could also be more sinister in the gearbox, for instance. I hope it's not the case. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff that I still need to get fixed on this before I can go to the MOT. And then we also have a lot of work, as you can see in the rear, to actually make this a camper van. As you can see, it's a very big room and it's very tall. That's nice for me. There is some rock and roll bed assemblies or chair assemblies back there, and that's really nice. But the big issue about this car is definitely the rust. Let's take a look at it. The entire panel down the side needs to be fixed. I can actually get a new one, so I think I'm just going to change the entire one. Back at the rear, someone has been trying to fix some stuff, but it's not completely done right. And the entire rear panel right here is missing. I think I can get a new one of those as well, so it's not that bad. The bottom end of the car though is actually in a pretty good condition overall. There's not really any issues. And then the doors also need some attention. But yeah. There is really a lot of potential in this car, but there is also a lot of work. But look at it. It's going to be really cool if we can get it to run reliable. The A112 Abarth still needs the front calipers to be rebuilt. It wasn't really braking in a straight line after I changed the discs and the pads last time. So I need to do that. Actually, it's kind of disappeared, the issue. It's actually braking straight for the moment, but I want to rebuild them anyway because I think it's going to drag at some point and one of them and then overheat the disc and warp it just like last time. So I'm gonna change that soon. Other than that, this car is just driving and it's so much fun. Another thing, I reached 4,000 subscribers yesterday. Apparently it seems as though the Austin, no, it's not called an Austin really, but the Princess is really popular. And don't ask me why. I can understand why, but considering all the cars that I have had on my channel, it seems at the time being that the Princess is the most popular one. And comparing the Princess to the A112, the Renault 5 GT Turbo and cars like that, but I made the reveal video on the Princess the other day and it was really received and watched by a lot of people, a lot more than usual. I think the video has been viewed 5,000 times now, and normally my videos gets around 1,000 views or something like that, so it's extremely more popular than normal and I don't really know what's going on. I'm slightly worried about you guys because come on, it's a British Leyland Princess. Yeah, anyway. Thank you. Reaching 4,000 subscribers is I can't really believe it myself, but it's pretty cool. Thank you for that. Let's take a look at some of the other projects. The most popular car on Seaside Garage, believe it or not. I'm extremely surprised about that, but yeah, it is a very interesting car, and I've been really busy since I picked it up, so I haven't had time to do anything on this car just yet, which is a bit of a torturing thing, because it is really interesting and I really look forward to trying to start it up. My plan for the time being is to start it up. Hopefully it will work. It should do. Remember, even though it doesn't look that way, it hasn't actually been that long since it drove last. So I think it will be pretty easy to start up. Then I'm going to get some wooden blocks into the suspension to raise it up, because at the moment there's a huge risk of actually hitting the floor with the oil pan, or the gearbox oil pan. That would be a shame, of course. I hope to get my hands on one of those pumps, but they are a bit expensive, and I really hope to get a used one cheap. And I also need to fix the suspension, because apparently it's not holding pressure, and it needs to do that, of course. So soon I hope to start it up. Then of course I will have to wash it and clean the interior, and then maybe put it on a slight hold while I fix some of the other stuff, and then get back to this. That's the plan for the time being. This is just a project update video, but I'm gonna do a little bit of work to this, because I hope to try to start it up in a couple of days' time. So today I would just like to get the spark plugs out of the car and squirt a little bit of oil into there. This engine has been fired up a couple of years back, the previous owner told me. So I don't expect the engine to be stuck, but still, the bores and the rings could be dry, and yeah, it's a good idea to oil it up before starting it up. Oh, it's the other side. I'm gonna say right now that I can feel that this car has not stood for long, because they are well greased and they are not at all stuck like they very often are when a car has been standing still for many years. Nice brown color. And then I'm gonna squirt some thin engine oil into each cylinder. This could loosen up the rings if they are stuck, and just lubricate the cylinder walls to not scratch the bores when it fires up. It will make the engine extremely smoky if it fires up for a small time, but it's a good idea. With the spark plugs out, the engine should be rather easy to turn. I'm just going to try to turn it with my hand really gently. I don't expect it to work, but maybe. Oh yeah, the engine is completely loose. That's nice. Let me show you. Maybe you could see that. This is great news. It doesn't seem to be stuck. That's good. I'm gonna refit the spark plugs and then give it a couple of days, and then we're going to try to fire it up. I can say so much now that it's not gonna run on the fuel currently in the car. The smell is really bad. So I'm gonna change, or at least run from a fuel can. And also I expect that we need to do something with the carbs, because they are most likely gummed up with old fuel, but we'll see. So this is really going to be exciting, and I hope to try to start it up in a couple of days' time. Almost always when I release a video, it is filmed the same day. So when I do it, you will know. So keep your eyes peeled if you are if you are excited about this one. I am for sure. Remember that you can support me on Patreon now. There's a link in the description. And to all Patreons, I sent a couple of Seaside Garage stickers. So go ahead and do that if you like. Let's take a look at all the mopeds, because there is a lot of mopeds in the garage at the moment. And that is because we're going on a moped trip, me and my moped gang. It's going to be a rather long one, all things considered. I think we are going to drive around 100 kilometers, maybe even a bit more in a couple of days. That is not something we normally do. And the mopeds that we drive on are very old and very unrestored. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. I'm gonna pack a lot of tools. I hope the other guys will carry my my sleeping gear and all that, because I'm just gonna be packed with tools. There are mopeds in the garage at the moment that are not mine, because some of the guys actually own their own mopeds. But I'm going to drive the Rex. I'm slightly conflicted between the Rex and the Mobylette Moby X, because the Moby X is so much fun and it actually rides really good. Yes, I'm going to make a video about that soon, but it is very tiny. And yeah, the Rex is, I think it's going to be the Rex in the end. The Rex is ready for the road, I hope. Just today, I welded up a new exhaust system using a NSU Quickly pipe, matched together with the old pipe, which I really also should change, but I didn't. But now it's not so noisy as it was before. I also changed the saddle. I kept the old saddle, and the old saddle is going back on, but it's just too rough to sit on for 100 kilometers, so it's going to be this one. I also fixed the suspension by altering the distance that the distance part in between the rubbers are. I made it a little bit smaller so it clamps a bit more. Now it seems to work, and that is nice. If it collapses, it's no big problem, because I have been riding this moped for many kilometers with a collapsed suspension. It's just not as comfy, of course. So I think it's ready, I hope. Here we have a Velo Solex 3800. This is one of my good friends' moped, and it is also going on the journey. Some may notice that it got a larger carb and a larger exhaust and an aluminum barrel. And yeah, it's a high performance Velo Solex. And over here is a very interesting bike. I really like this one. It's a Yamaha Sting. It's so nice to ride, because you feel like you are in Paris, Dakar or something like that. It's really, really nice. It just arrived here today, and it hasn't been riding for almost a year actually. And it didn't really want to start, but after a squirt of easy start into the carb, it fired up. And then it started to completely flood the carb and drown itself. So I actually took apart the lower part of the carb and cleaned up the needle valve and the float. And now it's working fine, and I think it's ready for the road. This moped gang of mine is just, yeah, let's try and see if it works kind of mentality. If it breaks down, it breaks down. We got a sleeping bag in the back, and yeah, we got a destination, but it's not the destination that is the point of our trips. It's just being together, having a lot of fun, and fixing whatever comes up on the way. So no, we don't fix everything before we go. We fix on the road, and that's really a part of the fun, in my opinion. This bike, though, is really interesting, because here we have the engine, and here we have a drive shaft set up into some cogs down here. That yeah, it's interesting. It's different take on a moped, and I like it, and it's so nice to drive. Right there is the Clio Grand Prix. It is driving really nicely, and yeah, I've been using it every day for the last few weeks, and it's really nice. After I actually tighten up that transmission mount, it is also a bit more comfortable, and I really like to drive it. It is for sale though, not because I don't like it, but because I got 7 cars at the moment, and I lost count of the mopeds, and I need to sell something to be able to afford all the spare parts that I need. So it's for sale. I don't know for how long it will be here. But talking about Renaults, the Renault 5 GT Turbo is going back on the channel very soon. I went to a mechanic the other week, last week, to get some new tires fitted. It also needed a wheel alignment because it had destroyed a brand new set of tires in no time. That's not good. They noticed that there was some slack in the steering rod assembly. So I'm going to change that. And there were also some slack in one of the bearings. So I'm going to change both bearings to just be safe and get everything sorted in the wheel alignment department. So I think I will make a video about that very soon. The Trabant is at my storage facility at the moment. I got a lot of spare parts on the way. I actually got those adjusters, which were really difficult to find. I was pretty close to actually considering converting them to the newer braking system that are more parts, where all the parts are available, but it seems to be possible to fix that. And then I need to fit some new tires. And when I bought the Princess, I actually also, and he gave it to me, got this old tire machine. And no, it's not a very sophisticated thing, but the Trabant isn't either. And back in the days, it was actually possible to use stuff like this. It just seems to be a bit of a forgotten art. But I'm going to try to change the tires on the Trabant using this. And then I'm going to do the wheel alignment using this. Because remember, the Trabant is a very basic car and the wheels are really slim. So I think it will be just fine for that purpose. The Lada Niva is also at the storage, waiting for, just waiting in line. I have a small plan about getting that car fixed in the end of the year, so I can use it as a winter classic, because that could be a lot of fun, but it needs a lot of work. Everything that you see on this shelf, and even a bit below, is parts for the Lada Niva. And there is a lot of parts. It was really cheap, that was nice, but there is a lot of parts that needs to be changed, and a lot of complicated rust repairs that I need to really, I really need to pick myself up to do that. It's difficult, but I'm really looking forward to dig into that project because it's going to be fun. But as you can see, at the moment I got the Trabant, the Niva and the Princess, which are really interesting projects, and I can't really decide on which to go on. I think I'm going to shuffle a little bit between them. And also I got the camper, of course. And while saying that, I suddenly remember I also have the Austin Metro. And one good thing has happened on the Austin Metro project, because I have had struggles and problems with the tires, because it is metric sizes, I think it's called, that they made them in. Those are no longer available. You can be lucky and get some very old stock tires, but they will be extremely expensive and no good because they are old and hard rubber. But the guy I bought the Princess from had a couple of aluminum rims that were fitted with normal tire sizes, and he agreed to swap them in the trade with the Princess. And now I got those, and those are actually extremely cool. They are Alicat British rally rims, and they look really nice on the Metro. I just went there today and fitted them. So at some point, we are going to have to fix the rest of that Metro and get it back on the road. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for 4,000 subscribers. And yeah, see you in the next one.